What's the dumbest thing you've seen someone do at a store? Okay, so I was at work in an ice cream shop. A lady comes in and orders a vanilla milkshake. She gets this nasty look on her face when I add the milk, but shrugs it off when I ask her about it. So I'm ringing her out, and she pays, and then goes right to my owner and complains about the service. I'd like to let you know that the boy who just served me, I'm 19, was very rude to me. What he do, mom? He made my milkshake with milk in it, and I'm lactose intolerant. I demand a refund, and for him to be fired. I'm just sitting here dumbfounded how anyone could be so stupid. Ice cream, by its very nature, has milk. What did your boss say to her? I really wanna know what happened. Worked at a pet store and watched a guy try and shove a huge aquarium filter in his hoodie. Then he had the balls to approach the counter with this protruding abnormally from his belly and tried to buy something. I laughed and told him to return it or I'd call the cops. He looked shook up, waddled back to the aisle and put it on the shelf. Told him on the way out to never return. Another one from the pet store was back when Finding Nemo came out. A guy called in about getting a clownfish. So we explained the requirements of setting up a saltwater tank. The guy says AWW, that's way too much work. Can't I just paint a goldfish? We all had a good laugh about that one. Fish painting kits. The next big thing. That's actually a thing though. I was buying alcohol with a fake kid in high school for a friend and a buddy of his who I didn't really know. We were all at the checkout in the liquor store and his dumbass friend decided to try to steal a lighter from the counter while the clerk was ringing us up. The guy working the register was basically looking right at us, so he obviously saw and told the guy to put the lighter back. Instead of just putting it back, this kid decided to play dumb and act like he didn't take anything. The guy working the register yelled to the security guard who blocked the door and told the kid to turn his pockets inside out. Of course the lighter fell out onto the floor and 4 or 5 shooters that I didn't even realize he had pocketed while we were in the store. I was sweating bullets because I thought they were going to call the cops and I was going to get busted when they figured out I wasn't 21. Luckily the guy working the register was cool about it and just told us to get out of the store. I never understood why the kid didn't just put the lighter back, considering how much other shit he had stolen that would have gone unnoticed. I always went into the store alone when using my fake after that. Remember the golden rule. Break one law at a time. You're already breaking one law. What do the rest of them matter? /s. I was working the customer service desk at a grocery store a few years ago. We sold Keurig coffee makers. Some dude tried to steal one, box and all, by putting it under his hoodie and walking out the door. When confronted by management for his obviously box-shaped torso, he decided to sprint for the door. The door he chose only opens automatically from one direction, not the one he was going either. So he slams face first into the door, broke a pane of glass, and knocked himself the duck out. I was on the floor struggling to breath from laughter for a solid 5 minutes. As someone who worked in retail, people who get things, put it in their cart, walk around the store, then realize they don't want it, and plop it where they currently are. Extra hate if it is a cold/hot item. There once was a full Dunkin' Donuts styrofoam cup, open and balanced in the middle of the bread aisle on top of a loaf of bread. Sometimes I wonder how instead of why. It was me. I filled in a job application form. A guy stopped mid-cycle in the revolving door to pick up something he dropped on the floor and got whacked hard in the rear when another customer entered. Got whacked hard in the rear when another customer entered. Lol. About a month ago I was waiting in line at the grocery store. One lady in front of me and one guy sort of off to the side. It looked like he might have been waiting, but I wasn't sure, and he was having a very loud conversation on his phone, so I didn't really want to ask. All he had with his was a box of ice cream drumsticks, and he seemed to be rolling on speed or something. This was his side of the conversation as I can recall. Semicolon. Talking about a meat swing. Got the duck and drumsticks duck. Duck and duck a meat swing. Fucking drumsticks duck. The lady ahead of me is shaking her head. So I do that smile and eye roll thing people do when internally laughing together in public. She motions for me to go ahead of her. So I smile, thank her, and start putting my stuff on the conveyor. Dude pipes up, semicolon. Been waiting like duck. Gonna get that duck in me, it's swing. Duck and cutters don't know drumsticks with that meat swing. I don't mind confrontation. So I just turned to him and said, yo man, you're on your phone, not near the line, and yelling like an asshole. Then just shrugged at him. He quiets down, actually says sorry, then says into the phone, just talking about that me, it's swing. Then management threw him out, and the lady who had let me go in front of her, and I just about pissed ourselves laughing. Meat swing indeed. IDK what a meat swing is, but I'm picturing a playground swing with a rack of ribs instead of the seat. A couple of months ago I was getting out of a supermarket and a woman with a baby in a stroller approached me. She asked me to buy her 4 big bottles of water. My dumbass thought she's saying, buy me 4 jars of tomato paste. So I went back in and bought 4 jars of tomato paste, and when I came back the lady was dying out of laughter. I still am ashamed of what I did. Italian water. The good old-fashioned Italian blood transfusion. This was me, and I don't think I've seen anything more dumb. I was 4, and we went to the pet store. I wanted a frog and a fish. My dad said no. When he wasn't looking I pocketed a goldfish and a frog. When we got to the car I showed my dad. He made me return them. The frog made it. The fish did not. I can't stop laughing right now. Rest in peace goldfish. Just joined the party after years of lurking around. Not a store but restaurant. I had a gentleman specifically request pecans on the side of his salad. When I arrived with his request he was very upset that they weren't far away enough. He was allergic. Didn't want them in the first place. To be fair, in my restaurant, if someone asks for something on the side, we bring it in a separate dish. There are these lightsaber toys that, if you say something and swing the saber it would repeat the thing you say. I was shopping with mom and said, hey mom, watch this. I said PP into the saber and started swinging it like crazy. So someone in the other section hearing this dumbass swinging a lightsaber, but the noise is replaced with a dumbass saying PP, and said dumbass is swinging it like ducking crazy. I would buy one of those lightsabers in a heartbeat. Pay for 2 pints of MD20 over 20 Orange Jubilee. Already too drunk to stand. Take the change. Pass out, hit chin on countertop. 3 stitches. Can't stand up. Ambulance comes, shit himself, went to the hospital. Battle 2. 45. 08 is legally drunk. Spent 3 days in hospital suffering withdrawal. Proud to say that I'm now 17 months sober. Congratulations on 17 months and for having the balls to print exactly what drinking does to your judgment and to your life. It's hard to quit drinking. My husband's cousin is an alcoholic and he's alienated everyone he's ever known. I hope that he gets sober too before he kills someone. He has 12 dwees. Thank you, and I hope he gets the help he needs. Stick an actual pack of gum from a shelf in their mouth and pretend it was their own. There was this weird guy in a ski mask who forgot to buy some stuff. This actually happened today. I'm a food and drink vendor, so I go to different stores every day to see if they need anything that we sell. There's a lot of dumb stuff that happens, but this one is still fresh. So I'm in an aisle at one of these stores and this old man wearing a mask, which is good, calls out to me and asks me if I work at said store. This happens a lot, and it's not a big deal. I tell him sorry, no, I'm a vendor. He laughs and apologizes. I walk away and proceed 3 aisles down. Same guy comes up to me and asks me again. I tell him that I'm the same guy he just asked. He laughs and apologizes profusely. He then says that he's looking for coffee filters and can't find it. Having an idea of where it is, I walk him to the aisle where the coffee is and point to where the filters are on the shelf. Nothing really dumb going on at this point. Just a little funny. He then starts to firmly pat me on both shoulders continuously while thanking me. This guy has a mask on, but just reached out and rubbed his hands all over me. Duck in a Try to walk out with games those anti-theft containers. Lick things after testing positive for a pandemic. Texas stores are weird. At night, some of them will lock the door on the right side, but it's something you wise up to after living here for a while. I was in a racetrack gas station / convenience store at about 3 AM. I was buying gas and I went inside to pay first. A guy comes in, looks around, opens the cooler and grabs a 12 pack of Bud Light. I mean Bud Light. Seriously man. And runs for the door. I'm guessing he wasn't from Texas, because he hit that right hand door going full tilt boogie, and I swear he bounced, broke his nose, knocked himself out, and laid there groaning. When the deputies showed up to take his ass to jail, they weren't real happy with dealing with such a dipshit, and they just kind of slid his ass out to the patrol car by his jacket collar. Had to hurt. Store isn't quite right, but I used to work at a hotel that was dog friendly. One night someone came to the lobby, grabbed a newspaper, and then grabbed a cookie from the ceramic jar, labeled woof directly above the dog bowl. He bit into it before I could stop him, and his embarrassment quickly switched to rage when he realized his mistake and that I had seen it. He, without exaggeration, screamed full volume for a minimum of 15 minutes about how awful it is on our part to have dog treats that look like cookies. They were the most generic dog treat you can imagine. I've never seen a human cookie look like one, in a jar without a label. The jar said woof. I think the dumb part wasn't even the mistake of eating it, but the attempt to blame us for his own stupidity. Haha. I made dog treats a couple years ago around Christmas. I sent a plate with my husband to his parents' house. He later told me that the cookies I made weren't very good. I asked what cookies. He didn't pay attention when I said they were dog treats and everyone at the house had the cookies. They were peanut butter and whole wheat flour, so ultimately nothing weird or meaty flavored, just really bland. That's totally fair. Probably the best way to do it too. As someone without allergies, I always imagined being clear cut about ordering. You didn't reply to a comment. You are a comment. They were just mentioning in another comment how they are new to Reddit, and I think they are talking about the salad and pecans thing. Lol IDK if this is the dumbest, but I was at the store with my BF, and when we were exiting this old / bigger lady with a huge ass stopped right in front of us. When she stopped apparently BF wasn't looking, and hit the cart right into her butt. She was super mad, and was like well go ahead then, and then we just walked past lol. He said he was sorry and it was clearly an accident, but she was a huge bitch about it anyway. The duck are you doing stopping dead in the middle of the exit doors in a busy grocery store anyway? This wasn't that long ago, maybe a week and a half ago, but I was in the parking lot with my dad waiting for my uncle and grandmother to get done shopping. This car was backing out and this car blocked that car in. And then the lady who blocked the other car in was getting impatient and was yelling move it. I don't understand why she did that, because since the other car was blocked and they had nowhere to go. Furniture store I worked at. Smaller items, anything smaller than a recliner, could be arranged to be shipped to the store for pickup, saving the customer the delivery fee, but the customer just has to bring a proper vehicle to pick it up. So a couple comes in saying they have an order to pick up. I ask if they have the receipt. We give a physical paper one and an email one, and they say yes, but don't get anything from a pocket. After about 10 seconds of silence I say, "Can I have it?" To which they reply, "I don't see how that's relevant. Let me talk to the manager." Manager was right there, since I was fairly new, and eventually got the receipt from them. They paid their remaining balance, and I got the item for them, a twin-sized bunk bed. These people had a tiny car, Civic or something, and it was packed up, like they were going on a month-long road trip, and they complained about us not telling them the box would be that big. Packaging dimensions are listed online. They had to leave it with us. They never came back for their fully paid for bed. We sent it back to the warehouse and sold it again. I watched a toddler drink nail polish. His mom didn't do anything besides take the bottle and do the weird violent angry whisper thing. While standing in the store, someone asked an employee if the store was open. fighting over paper toilet. That thing was stupid as duck. The dumbest thing anyone's ever done in a store is when you want something and your mom says no. So you have to do the walk of shame back to the shelf to put it back. This question reminds me of the show Superstore, and the way they do scene transitions is they have little scenes of the customers doing weird or stupid things. It's one of my favorite parts of the show because they are hilarious, and I bet people at Walmart have done that before. Here is a mashup of a lot of them. Link B/Zipson N8. I mean, holy duck. Licking ice cream and walking away has to be up there, doesn't it? Unquestionably so if they film it as well. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.